Welcome back to the 7th episode of Across the Wave, where we fill you in on all the Delbarton sports news that you missed over the past week and highlight some pro and college sports. I'm Lorenzo Scola, joined by Rylan Dooley, and we have a ton to discuss with you today.
Yeah, and a tough game for the football team this week. They fall to 3-4 on the season, falling to nationally ranked Bergen Catholic. They're 15th in the nation, number 2 in the state. And Bergen Catholic really just had a great game, a great showing all around for them. They picked up 3 interceptions with a top secondary in the country. They also had a great game on the defensive line. Not many sacks, but definitely impacting the quarterbacks and making it tough for Gavin Gallardi and Jaden Smalls to get the ball out cleanly. Also, they had their way in the run game as well, both on offense and on defense, limiting Delbarton's offense to only 1 touchdown. Overall, a huge game for Bergen Catholic and a bad game for Delbarton. They're going to fall to 3-4 with some tough games coming up.
Yeah, definitely. They have those next 2 hard games. But talking about some of those key performances, Gavin Gallardi had the lone passing touchdown throw to Matthew Teferi. That was an 80-yard score showing here. But then Gavin Gallardi, he had 2 interceptions thrown into All-American DB Jordan Thomas. And unfortunately for the Green Wave, playmakers like Grant Van Rapp and Austin Kiley couldn't get as involved today as they do. Matthew Teferi was really the main note of the offense with 106 yards. Kobe Irby Mason picked up 43 on 9 attempts, so he had an okay day, but the Green Wave weren't really able to establish their run game like they always have in these past games that they've been able to win. And defense really for Bergen is really just what won them the game too, in stopping all the attempts from the Green Wave on offense. But their offense, 4 passing touchdowns from their QB, Trey Tagliaferri. He had 331 yards. Brian Porter, brother of Quincy Porter, had 2 touchdowns, and they had 2 rushing touchdowns as well.
Yeah, and I mean, you definitely said it, Lorenzo. Delbarton's offense normally comes out with a heavy run game out of the gate, really relying on those 3 backs we mention almost every week, it seems like, especially Kobe Irby Mason. But this week, the defensive in the front 7 from Bergen Catholic was just so strong. Limiting that run game really affects the game plan for Delbarton moving forward. You see, as that run stops, their pass plays normally work off those run plays. They're just quick shots looking to pick up a lot of yards. It's almost like they're risk plays. But with the run game not working, they need to lead on the pass game more, which didn't work out for them. And we'll see how they can adjust it into these next coming weeks. Yeah, and they're going to have a big matchup this week coming against DePaul Catholic at home. It's going to be a big test for this team as they're going against a top quarterback in the state, Derek Zammit, getting a lot of college attention at the D1 level. Going to be a huge test for this Delbarton secondary, who throughout the year has given up the deep ball a lot. So it's going to be a big test for them. Hopefully they can contain him, make sure they limit him. And it's also going to be a big job on the front 7, limiting the run game, and also for this defensive line, getting pressure on Derek Zammit, making sure he doesn't have a lot of time to make decisions, forcing him to make bad throws and ease the secondary a little bit in that regards.
Yeah, Derek Zammit can kill you with his legs and his arms. And Bergen Catholic, they were able to have 6 tackle for loss, so that really this would stop that run game. And in other news, DePaul recently just beat unbeaten St. Peter's 31-21, so they're hot. They're at 5-2, and they're looking to improve and beat the Green Wave. But Delbarton, these 2 next home games to finish the season after 2 away games, really see if they can improve with a positive record for this year heading into states.
Yeah, and after DePaul, they're going to be facing Paramus Catholic, another big matchup at home. That's going to be their last game of the season. They're, of course, looking for 2 big wins here, get them back over 500. Best case scenario now is a 5-4 record, and it all starts this week against DePaul. That's going to be a great game.
Yeah, definitely. Paramus recently upset Red Bank Catholic this past week and improved to 3-5, so they're looking to pick up some wins and finish with a .500 record themselves. And now we're going to move on to the soccer team. After winning 3 straight games last week, including a 4-1 victory in the second round of the Morris County tournament, 4-1 against Parsippany, the Green Wave really rode that hot hand and beat Morris Knolls High School 2-1 after falling early 1-0. Cortland Martin with 7 minutes left tied things up, and then Dylan Mazzarella 4 minutes later makes it so the Green Wave can win and improve 2-1. Moving on to the semifinal, they fell to Chatham 1-0. Really couldn't get off the looks that they wanted. In a stunner, because the Green Wave has won this Morris County tournament time after time. So now it's going to be Chatham versus Randolph to play in the final round on Saturday. The Green Wave were the 1 seed coming in, Chatham 4, and they get the upset. And the Green Wave are now 11-5-1 on the season. They have 4 games left, 2 away and 2 home. Then they'll turn to states where they look to improve again after making it to the final round against St. Benedict last year. That's always competitive, the state tournament. The Green Wave, they have to finish strong and win these last 4 games to ride the momentum heading into states and improve in their record, as they were 21-1 last season. If they can control the time of possession and successfully move the ball down the field to get those looks that they've been getting early on, I think they'll avoid these uncharacteristic losses. Cortland Martin, he still leads with 8 goals, and Liam Murphy and Dylan Mozzarella lead with 4 each, and a bunch with 3.
Yeah, so moving forward, they really need to put this loss behind them. Obviously, it sucks not winning the Morris County tournament, but there are definitely better things ahead and bigger goals ahead for this Delbarton soccer team. So first off, they're going to be playing at Summit and then Sparta. Then they'll follow that with Roxbury and Mount Olive. Those are their 4 remaining regular season games for the season. And then it's on to states. Last year they made it to the state final. I know Dr. Donovan, the coach, and this team definitely have that same goal, and it's just going back to work. Every day has to be working on improving, getting ready and moving forward from these losses. They still have a chance at the state finals. That's got to be the message.
Yeah, if anything, you know that the Green Wave, they'll come back from this. And as you said, just knowing you didn't win the Morris County, but go ahead and win the bigger thing, the state tournament. So we'll see how they improve, and we'll have that coverage next week.
As for cross country, a lot of action is last week. The Delbarton cross country team competed in the NJAC, which is conference championships. They had some solid performances. Ryan Leuenberger placed 7th with a time of 16:25 in the 5K. A great time for him. Only a junior, he's looking to have a great season to end this year, all the way through winter track season, and hopefully a great cross country season next year. Also, senior Matthew O'Reilly, first year doing cross country, he logs a time of 17 minutes flat, which is good enough for 15th place in him in the conference. 2 great performances from Delbarton from that big meet. And moving on, they also have the state meet for non-public A, which is today as we're currently recording this, and then they'll also have more playoff competition down the line. So a big schedule coming up for this cross country team. Also, we have some recruiting news, as we have 3 huge wrestling commits coming all from the class of 2027. First off was August Moser, heavyweight, had the electric last-second takedown in the Blair match to seal the victory for Delbarton last year. He announced his commitment to Harvard. Great landing spot for him, as he's been a major role of this Delbarton heavyweight for this year and for next year as well. And we also had the commitment of Gabe Logan, injured last year, but he's going to commit to the University of Michigan. Another great landing spot for this wrestler. Again, injured last year, but he's such a solid wrestler. You see it during club season and during individual season in the high school off season. He's looking to have a big bounce back year this year. And also Cameron Sons, 2-time state champion. He just announced his commitment to Lehigh. So 3 huge commitments coming out of the class of 2027 for the wrestling team, shaping up to be a great year for them.
Yeah, definitely. Wrestling team, arguably the best in the state. Time after time, they get those commits, and really just a great recruiting class. Great coach and Coach Stoll. So look to see them again, which should be an amazing season. And now we're going to discuss the sub-varsity schedule. So freshman football, they stunned Bergen Catholic, winning 14-12. Incredible for them, and now they're 3-3, and they'll play the same schedule as varsity. JV football lost their first game of the season, a close one to Bergen, 12-7. They're 4-1. They also face the same schedule. JV soccer, they continued their great season. They recently tied with Seton Hall Prep 2-2 and beat CVA 2-1. They play Lawrenceville today as we're talking. That game is going on. That is the 23rd. And Sparta tomorrow, and Seton Hall again Friday. They stand at 9-3-4. Freshman soccer, they tied up Seton Hall as well, 2-2, and they previously lost to them 4-1, so it's nice for them to get back with a tie. They beat CBA 1-0, and they play Columbus High School Thursday. They're 10-3-4. So it's really just nice for all sub-teams to get a victory, and except for JV, but they still kept it close, so good luck. And that's where it really starts the lower levels, building up so that they can improve to the higher levels, and really what makes this school great at sports. And now we're going to discuss some pro football. Wasn't the best week of games this past weekend, but starting on Thursday night, Joe Flacco had an electric game. Jamar Chase and Higgins both scored a touchdown, had both almost 100 yards. Chase had over that 160, and they beat the Steelers 33-31. Nice for them to get a win. The Jags, they cooled off. They lost 35-7. The Jets, they continue their struggle, losing 6-13 versus the Panthers. And the Raiders, their woes continue, 31-0 to the Chiefs. Not a good look for them. Hopefully we don't see Pete Carroll get fired, because, I loved him when he's the Seahawks coach, but it might be his time just to hang it up. Rashee Rice, his first game back, had a great week, 2 touchdowns. McCaffrey shined again. He had 40 fantasy points and he already has 500 rushing yards and 500 receiving yards, so he's projected to have 1,000 in both categories. Without him and Kyle Shanahan combined, I don't really know where the 49ers would be, but they keep picking up a win after win. The Bucs, they finally cooled off. They lost to the Lions 24-9. Baker Mayfield didn't have the best night, just missed a couple of players, couple of touchdowns, and Mike Evans, that scary injury, he broke his collarbone, so he's going to be out almost close to the rest of the season, but hopefully will be back sometime. The Commanders, they don't really look so good this season. Coming off that last place schedule last year, everyone expected them to play good again this year, but they have a harder schedule. They're 3-4, not looking like the best in the NFC East. They lost 44-22 to the Dallas Cowboys. The Colts look like a legit Super Bowl contender. They beat the Chargers 38-24. The Seahawks defense dominates the Texans. Smith and Jigba looking like the best receiver in football. They pick up the win and prove to 5-2, and they have a bye before they'll face the Commanders in 2 weeks. He has 819 yards on the season, most by any receiver. Second place is Jamar Chase with 620. The Dolphins, they're not looking good, and the Titans don't look good either. Titans look like they could be selling high on some players coming up with the deadline coming up soon. And you want to talk about the Giants and Packers?
Yeah, so the Giants, just a crushing loss this weekend to the Broncos. They had the game in the bag. It seemed 19-point lead going into the fourth quarter, and they fall 33-30 after a missed field goal. Heartbreaking stuff for New York. They were coming off a hot streak. And the Packers as well, they barely beat the Cardinals 27-23 thanks to a last-second touchdown from Tucker Kraft. Big bounce-back win for them after tying one and losing one. They're top of the NFC as of now. Huge week in college football, especially in the SEC. First off, Georgia takes down Ole Miss in a thriller. That's a huge game down in Athens. Big win for Georgia, bouncing back. Also, Vanderbilt, they take care of LSU. A huge upset for the Commodores moving in. They've also looked very strong down the stretch. But who's looked the strongest in the SEC, maybe in all of college football, has been Alabama. Another huge win over Tennessee, 37-20. They really look like a huge championship contender going down the stretch. They're going to make major issues for anyone they run into in the playoffs. Huge upset as well for Miami. Louisville drops them on a thriller on Friday night. Carson Beck, no touchdowns and 4 interceptions. Really costly for the Hurricanes. They looked really strong all season. They're going to fall down to 9 in the rankings. Also, an awesome game in the Holy War. BYU takes down Utah 24-21. BYU remains unbeaten on the season. Huge win for them as they move forward. Hope to keep their streak alive. As for next week, the SEC just continues to feed us huge matchups. including number 10 Vanderbilt is going to take on number 15 Missouri, and also 8th ranked Ole Miss is going to face 13th ranked Oklahoma. And also Texas A&M, they're going to try to stay perfect. They need to beat LSU, who really needs a bounce back win after going 2 for their last 3.
Yeah, definitely. I saw a report where it said that 2 through 25 changed, but 1 did not. Ohio State remaining at 1. I'm happy with that. Now moving on for our next week of picking one fantasy player for the week that we think will do good and be a good pickup. I'm going to go with Tez Johnson, the Oregon receiver, now on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. With Mike Evans breaking his collarbone against the Lions, he will miss a large chunk of the season. This clears the way for Tez Johnson, who had a touchdown catch against the Lions and 49ers and should have arguably had 2. Baker missed him on a wide open crossing route on a 3rd down late in the game. I expect him, though, to be more involved down the stretch. He'll compete with tight end Cade Otton for targets after Emeka Egbuka, and he's only 16% roster right now. So if you're looking for a nice bench piece that could fit into a flex or something in need, I would go with Tez Johnson. He really has broken out over these past 3 weeks. What about you?
Yeah, my pick is going to be Xavier Legette. Very unrostered. Depending on your website, there are some where he's only 7% rostered. Definite dark horse, but last week he put up 15.8 points. Definitely has high upside, getting more targets as the season has progressed. I think he'd be a great pickup for your bench. After the MLB, we had even more action as the championship series have closed. First off, the Dodgers with a sweep over the Brewers, including one of the best baseball performances of all time, considering the circumstances. Shohei Ohtani in Game 4, 3 home runs, 10 strikeouts through 6 innings, no earned runs. I mean, it's ridiculous. Hitting and pitching in the same game to get his team to the World Series. Insane stuff from Shohei to get the Dodgers to another World Series appearance. And also the Blue Jays, they defeat the Mariners in an electric Game 7 thanks to a 3-run home run from George Springer in the 7th inning. It's going to give them a 4-3 win in Game 7, getting them to the World Series, and it's going to be a great matchup. Blue Jays and Dodgers, it's kicking off this Friday the 24th in Toronto, shaping up to be a great season. Make sure you stay tuned for that.
Yeah, definitely tough for the Mariners after going up 2-0. They had it 3-1, and then that home run from George Springer at the bottom of the 7th. Really, the Mariners couldn't respond after that. Their last strikeout on Julio Rodriguez, where it was a 3-2 pitch, kind of swung at more of a ball, and it was unfortunate for them. It would have been cool, though, to see Cal Raleigh get up if Julio walked or got a hit there, because he was next up. But they had a great season, and yeah, like you mentioned, it's going to be a great World Series. A lot of people have the Dodgers winning this. They've been so dominant this season in general, and especially in these playoffs. But we'll see if the Jays can be the underdogs and steal a couple games and maybe go ahead and win it. But that will do it for episode 7 of Across the Wave, where we filled you in on everything Delbarton sports and pro and college sports that you needed to know. We'll be back here again next Tuesday. For Lorenzo, Scola, Ryan, Dooley.
Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next week.